And also up and away. Every National Weather Service office east of the Mississippi launching twice as many weather balloons to collect data for Joaquin as they normally do. And that's where we start. We are joined by storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel, Sarah Dillingham here as well. And just after 7 o'clock East Coast time, that's time for the National Weather Service in Charleston to launch one of their weather balloons. Yep. So let's go there live right now. We are joined by John, and I'm going to annihilate your name, John. So just go ahead and say your last name for me yourself.
It's Quagliarello.
All right, well said. Right. And I don't think I could even repeat it for you. John, take us through this. Okay, the National Weather Service offices east of the Mississippi doing twice as many balloon launches as you normally do. Tell us the reasoning behind that and what you hope to gain from it.
Sure. Well, the weather balloons, as they go up, give us information on temperature, humidity, wind, and pressure. And all that information gets sent back and put into the supercomputers. So the more frequent we can get that information, the better quality information that gets put into those models, and then in the end, the better the output of those models. So just like you were talking about earlier, we have a couple of very reliable models showing two different tracks of the storm. The hope is by getting this better information and what's going to actually steer the system into the models, the outcome will become a little bit more consistent and give us a better forecast.
So, John, can we see the balloon and the package that's about to be sent up into the air?
Sure can. We're going to switch over now, and here's Emily Timty, and she's going to go ahead and release the balloon. So you can see she's actually holding the balloon itself. There's a parachute just below it, that orange parachute that you see. And now she just grabbed the radio sonde, and that's actually what observes the temperature, wind, humidity, and pressure for us.
And away it goes. So, John, it's
so cool.
John, it seems like it's such a simple, rudimentary way to collect data, but it's so useful, right?
Oh, it's tremendous. We've had weather balloons for a long time, but the data that it supplies us is just invaluable. It's a really reliable way of sampling what's going on higher up in the atmosphere. In fact, the Weather Service launches balloons from about 90 locations across the country twice a day. There's about 800 sites worldwide that do the same thing at the same time, so it's very useful information.
And John, when can we expect the data from this balloon launch to be in the computer model runs?
Well, we'll start receiving the information from this balloon release in the following model runs. So we call them the 0Z models, or the ones that come out a little bit later on tonight and that are used to prepare the forecast overnight tonight. So this data will probably be seen in the 4 a.m. package from the National Hurricane Center, maybe even as early as the 11 p.m. Advisory from the Hurricane Center. So, this information gets brought into the models very quickly, and it's just really great to have.
That was awesome. I've been in meteorology 1,000 years, and I've never seen a balloon launch, but that was so cool. Yeah. Full disclosure. But
They're on Twitter all the time. Come on, you.
Well, I have a question here. So how often do you have to send these balloons up more frequently than normal? I mean, how often do you have to do this?
Sorry, 1 second. I've got a big jet flying overhead.
Hey, it's in the field. It's a working environment.
It's live television.
Must have been the jet stream.
Sorry, can I again?
No, the question I have is how often do you launch these balloons at special times like you're doing today? How frequently do you have to do that?
Well, generally it's just twice a day, but really anytime there's a tropical system that potentially has a threat to impact any portion of the United States, the Weather Service will begin doing these special releases, which are, again, every 6 hours as opposed to every 12 hours.
Hey, John, tell me about how far of a sample of air will you get here? How far will this thing travel horizontally?
Well, horizontally, it could go out maybe as far as 150 miles from where we release it from. Generally, the balloons that we release here in Charleston go out into the Atlantic, but the balloons go up about 100,000 feet, if not more, up into the atmosphere. So really, it travels quite a distance.
So for our viewers' information here, this is not going into Joaquin. This is all over land. We want to get a really good handle on what that trough is going to do, right?
Exactly. By all these offices east of the Mississippi releasing this balloon, we'll actually see what's going on higher in the atmosphere and sample that big trough that you've been discussing, and really gives us an idea of how deep and how far south it's going to drop, and in return, the potential for that trough to kind of pull Joaquin back closer to portions of the mid-Atlantic United States.
John, real quick, what happens to these? Once these go up, they burst. I assume that all of the little packages that the Charleston office launches are all lost at sea. They're never recovered.
Some of them are. When we have light winds, they'll actually go up and come right back down to the local area. I know, in fact, a few have been recovered right here in the Charleston area, one right down in Charleston Harbor not too long ago. You know, the balloons get up, they expand, they become 20, 25 feet in diameter and eventually burst. And once it happens, that radio sign, that package on the bottom actually comes down with that parachute pretty gently down toward the ground. So like I said, majority of ours go out into the Atlantic, but they're released all across the United States. And a lot of those get recovered in other parts of the country. And once they're recovered, there's actually a little information on there where you can go and send it back, and they could actually be refurbished if we retrieve them back. So it's really useful to get some of those back. And it's pretty fun to see where they land. Sometimes it's in trees,
nice.
sometimes, you know, it could be all over.
John Quagliarillo, we really appreciate the inside look this evening. Great information, and I'm taking Postel.
Yeah.
I'm taking Postel radio sign chasing.
Yeah, and then we got to find
Thanks, John.
We got to find the package that fell.
Yeah.
Right.
Go hunting for that.
If it's going to go straight up and straight down.
You go paddle yourself out into the Atlantic and go get it whenever you find
We'll get you a
it.
It might
kayak.
take
for
a
that.
million years.
Do a live shot from there. We'll
Get
take
your
it.
kayak for sure.